Undercover Missions Operation Kursk K-141 is a third-person point-and-click espionage thriller developed by the game Species and published by Ravenscourt in 2015. The story is inspired by historical events surrounding the sinking of the Russian submarine Kursk in the Barents Sea in the year 2000. Till today it is unclear what really happened. Operation Kursk is therefore not a factional re-narration of the tragic occurrence, instead offering a fictional explanation of the circumstances which led to the disaster. At the first glance the game looks nice, similar in style to adventures that were released in the early 21st century. The game has received mixed reviews on Steam, often criticizing the English voiceovers.
And what are we doing here?
Business with rubber hoses and tires.
I understand.
Milena, there are new problems. Give me 10 minutes, then I'll update you. This is your desk.
Well, I am glad that you've come to visit me.
I hope I'm not disturbing you.
Not at all. I will be solely in the company of sailors for the weeks ahead, so I am pleased to see such a pretty young lady before we sail off.
You are very charming.
Because of the weeks at sea with so many sailors. But you are certainly not here only because of me. What can I do for you?
Honestly, they could have been better, but the voice acting is not especially bad, it just lacks a bit of enthusiasm. Steam offers a French language version which is mediocre and a German one which is quite decent.
Die Kursk liegt hier im Hafen vor Anker. Wie Sie wissen, ist die Kursk in der Lage, ganze Flugzeugträgerverbände zu versenken.
Ein lohnenswertes Ziel.
Genau. Versuchen Sie herauszufinden, was hier los ist.
The player is taking on the role of Milena Belyaeva, an agent of the Russian Secret Service. Milena is part of a special unit of the Secret Service FSB called the URPO, which is fighting against organized crime.
Die Vorgangsweise sieht nach militärischer Elitetruppe aus, genauer gesagt, wie eine russische Militärelite.
During her investigations, Milena follows up on some leads, which make her eventually board the Kursk. Undercover, our heroine infiltrates the submarine, trying to figure out what is going on. In essence, the story is a flashback leading up to the events of the sinking of the Russian submarine. Except for a few moments, the game is set almost entirely on the vessel. The story is divided into 9 chapters.
Here you go.
Thank you. It's not a good idea to turn your back on the lovely Milena.
The left mouse button makes Milena interact with people and objects, the right click serves as look-at function. Interesting is the use of the double click in order to use an item. At some occasions the player has to click the same object multiple times to get a result, so make sure to check everything thoroughly. At the bottom the inventory is shown next to 3 symbols. The magnifying glass is a very helpful tool which reveals all hotspots on the active screen. A click on the question mark in the upper right corner shows some hint regarding the current objective. Through a map the player can fast travel from one room to another, but not all rooms are accessible at all times, which makes sense considering that the Kursk is a military vessel where some locations can only be accessed by higher ranking officers. In order to get there, Milena has to acquire certain keys or access cards. In a typical point-and-click adventure game manner, the player has to solve several puzzles and minigames, which are usually not too difficult.
No, that does not make sense. No!
Operation Kursk is a straightforward game, quite logical and not too difficult.
No.
Although it is not the creme de la creme of point-and-click adventures, it has also its positive sides. I liked, for example, the puzzles and the graphics, and I especially enjoyed the setting on the Kursk. The echoey soundtrack, a constant hum, emulates the atmosphere of being on a submarine. If you have ever wondered how it feels to be underwater, here is your chance.
I can't get out of here. I can't get out of here.
Why are those folk songs always about some river or other? I wonder.
Exactly. Getyusha, at the bank of the river.
The apple and pear trees were blossoming while wafts of mist.
It sounds like a folk song, but I've read that it's actually a hit from the 50s.